What's going on, friends? I'm here with Priscilla, who is absolutely smashing it with us. If you can you please just introduce us,
Yeah.
everyone to you, and then what your business is, your location, and then what were you doing before you kind of got started with PMU Launch?
Yes. Okay. So my name's Priscilla. I'm owner of an event, airbrush makeup and hair studio in Germantown, Maryland. And so we specialize pretty much our main source of income comes from brides, right? We go on location for bridal makeup and hair, but we also have a studio as well. So we are in the DC, Washington, DC, Maryland, and Virginia area. So everything's pretty close within an hour. So we travel on location to those three states. And so before I started PMB, I mean, in hindsight, I wasn't really doing much. I mean, in regards to my business, we were just trying to continue to grow, but I wasn't a part of a program of any kind or anything like that.
Gotcha. And like, walk me through a little bit of like the progression you've made since you've kind of come into our ecosystem, got some of our SOPs and processes.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think one of the biggest things was I was really struggling with the sales, something that we've discussed before, right? I don't like sales. I'm very good at customer service, but when it comes to actually the thought of having to sell to somebody really was daunting to me. And I was really, I'll be honest, I was very hesitant about it, right? So I think to be honest, that's what's held me back from making more money in my company because I know, and I've always known sales is extremely important. Like you can't avoid it. I mean, you're in a business, you have to sell. Now,
Yeah.
the type of salesperson you are can vary, and that's something that I've learned through your course,
Mm.
and which I loved and really helped. I explained that it helped me change my mindset, right? So that really was a big turning point for me when you had expressed that there are different types of salespeople, and I feel like I had one type of salesperson in mind, like a car salesman or somebody that's like like at the mall, those people are like, hey, you got to buy from me. And it's just
Yeah.
like, I hate that type of selling. And that's just not a me type of person. So I guess that's what I had envisioned for a long time. And I kept like putting it to the back burner. So one
Yeah.
of the biggest reasons that I invested in you guys was because you guys were big on sales, and I was like, all right, this is the one place that I'm not good at, right? And as an entrepreneur, like you have to force yourself to do things that you're uncomfortable with or you're not going to grow. So that
Right.
was one of the biggest things that I knew was like my last, connecting piece to get to where I want to. And that would be my first seven figures. So being that, I feel like I've definitely grown in just my experience in sales, and just again, I feel like it was a mindset, going through the program that you guys did and just listening to a lot of your courses, or like the videos that you recorded
Mhm.
really helped me get into a better mindset of what a salesperson can be like. So that just kind of took me to over the edge on what I want for my goals.
I love that. Um, and walk me through a little bit in terms of that shift. Like, I want to help because I think a lot of people have that mentality as well.
Yeah.
So, what kind of got you to be able to open up that, like, to shift the perspective a little bit?
Honestly, so two things. I'm extremely ambitious. So because I am ambitious, that part of me knew that I had to get uncomfortable with the things that I'm uncomfortable with, right? Like,
Yeah.
in order for you to grow, you have to be uncomfortable. You're not going to always feel comfortable in the things that you're doing. And that's a good thing because that
Yeah.
means you're growing, right? So that was one of my biggest things. So reaching out to you, even though I knew it was a part of sales, I did it because I needed to push myself in that aspect. Then the second part of it was what I kind of mentioned before. Honestly, there was this one particular video, you explained the different sales types and people and how you can sell to people, and that you don't necessarily have to be that salesperson at a car dealership.
Yeah.
That really changed my shift too, because I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like I could totally do this. I don't have to be that sales shark guy
Yeah.
or girl that's at the dealership pressuring people to buy into my product.
Yeah.
So that was actually a very big point
Well,
as well, tipping point for me.
let's go. I love it. And between all other companies, if you were looking, why did you ultimately come to PMU Launch and decide to work with us?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I definitely did look at other companies, and other companies were great as well. They had different things to offer. But one of the things in particular, like I had mentioned, I needed sales. I knew that that was the missing part for me. So other companies, right, they offered a portion of their course was sales. A lot of it was processes, right? Like how you can like process and streamline your business, which for me, I actually have that down. I'm further along in my business. So the process part wasn't for me the biggest aspect of it. Like I said, I'm at a like tipping point. I needed the sales. That was my very next like step that I needed to take. So with you guys, so two things. There was another company I was thinking of too. However, I am a very big believer in like you have to promote what you're selling, right? So I'll tell you a story. When I did the call with the other team, oh my gosh, that lady was like so mundane in the sales. Like she got on a Zoom and she was like, "So, like, did you want to buy this?" And I'm like, "I would never buy from you. Like never. Like how are you going to teach me, right? Like how are you going to teach me to sell when I would never whether it's her or someone else, but the point is the person selling me was monotone. And so I'm a big believer like if you're going to sell me, I have to buy into it. And if you're that good of a salesperson, I'll be like, "Wow, this is amazing." So
Yeah.
coming to you guys, when I met with the girl, I think it was Olga. When I
Okay.
met with her, the way she sold me, I was like, this is gold. Like, I was
Yeah.
like, I need you on my team. She was like, well, Renato trained me. And I was like, I'm sold because again, I'm like, if he did that with her, right? Like that means that he's gonna help me become that good at sales. And I'm I'm very particular about what I buy. I'm one of those like one of those people that have to think about it. I have to really, so because of that, the way that she reasoned with me through the sale call at the end, I was kind of like stuck, like, how can I say no? And I was like, that's it. I'm like, I like this. So that
Right.
experience in itself, like it sold me. And
Yeah.
so that's why, because I felt like you guys backed up what you said. So
I love
it was
that.
great.
Amazing. I love it. Let's talk a little bit about like when you came in, where are you sitting at in terms of revenue, kind of profit, and where are you now?
Yeah, so I was making a total was in sales 55,000 and now I'm making about 90,000 a month. So I started with which is amazing, yes. And so I
Oh,
started with 24,000 bringing home like, like I forgot what net, right?
profit. Yeah.
Profit.
Yeah.
So 24,000 and now I'm bringing in 60,000 in profit. So this huge jump. That's almost like triple. So
I love that. That is
yeah,
amazing.
yes.
And that's in like we've been working together for 60 days, give or take.
Yeah, about a little bit more like but like the sales like starting 60 days, I'd say. Yeah, definitely.
That is phenomenal. How are you feeling?
Amazing. Amazing. More confident, right? Yeah, like it's definitely true. The more you do it, the more times that was another video that I remember you saying like, you took 800 calls like in order to get to a certain point, you have to take a certain amount of calls.
Yeah.
Um, but just in general, just getting on calls and seeing that it's not that hard. It's really not that hard. You're having a conversation with someone
Yeah.
and they already need the service because they're on the phone for you because they want the service. It's not about not needing it. It's a matter of you convincing them why they should buy from you, right? And like why you're worth it, right? So that's yeah, it's been great. Yeah.
I love that. That is amazing. Seriously, congratulations on that
Yeah.
explosive growth. That's amazing. Yeah,
Thank you.
you had, I think the thing with you is you already had, like you said, the operation down. So you just like you could handle the volume
Yes.
if we just push that volume in.
Yes, correct.
So
And that's what I was
I
looking for. Yeah.
love it. I love it. What would you say to someone that's maybe sitting on the fence? Maybe they spoke to Olga and they didn't pull the
Yeah.
trigger.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So, what would I say to them? I would say it's definitely worth it if you're willing to put in the work. I mean, when I say pulling the work, I mean, I think I mentioned to you, I work sick sometimes. I work at all hours of the day. Being an entrepreneur, like if you really want something, you have to put in the work. Like you can't just expect to invest in something and then be like, well, I just want them to bring me the money. It doesn't work that way. So
Yeah.
if you're willing to put in the work, you're gonna get the money back. There's just no doubt about it because you're putting in the work. So it's definitely worth it. That was one of my scares too. Like I was like, always investing in a course and then not making the money off it. And I was like, I don't know. But I
Mm.
love the fact that you guys also had somewhat of a guarantee. And that was what put me to ease too. And I was like, all right, fine, let's do it, you know?
Yeah,
So I definitely say it's worth it.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I'm so proud. Congrats on all of this growth.
Thank
Like seriously, I'm excited to see where you're gonna be. You're on pace. You're on pace to finish out at a mill.
you.
So
Yeah.
that is phenomenal. I'm super proud.
Thank
Seriously.
you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
of course. Absolutely.